In this video, all we need to do now to understand interfaces is to create actual objects out of each of our two different classes and exercise them so that you can see how they both use the common functionality and implement it a little bit differently, but it's really the same functionality even though our classes are different, and it wouldn't make sense to have a common ancestry of a parent class that's the same. We don't need all of that extra overhead or weight, if you will, in our classes. These are just two POCO classes that need to share a common functionality. Take a look. Okay, so now in this video, we're going to use the interface objects that we've created. So we started out with the sales reporting interface that has two abstract methods that any classes that we create that are going to implement this interface must give bodies to, right? They have to implement these abstract methods. So we started off with the widget shop and we implemented them. And then we went to the advertising consultants company and implemented them slightly differently, but you should be able to get the point. And so now we're going to actually instantiate those objects and see what we get, okay? So we're in main, and let's build a widget shop first. WS, oh, let's spell that right. Widget shop WS equals new widget shop. We'll say 124 and 32. Okay, and now let's say WS, because that's the object. Widget shop is just the recipe for that object. And we're not going to calculate, we're going to display widget shop. Let's take a look at that. So we get our title. We have 124 widgets on hand. We've sold 32, and our sales tax generated is 11.1776. A bunch of zeros and a 2. So we're beginning to see error here, and we might want to format that print to be a little more reasonable to what sales tax would look like. Okay? But for now, we see the common functionality. I'm not going to worry about those details. So now let's do one where we use the default constructor to show that we can still use the setters just like any other class. There's no difference except that we have common functionality that we've implemented slightly differently. So here we go. Advertising consultants AC equals new advertising consultants, and we're going to use the default constructor. So now we need to set the values. So we're going to say AC.set monthly rate to, let's say, we charge $124.97 per month. Okay? And then we're going to say AC.set number of monthly clients, and we'll say we're up to 13 clients. Okay? And then we call AC dot. Now this one's not display widget shop. This is display ad firm. Okay? It's a totally different method because these are totally different classes. But they both use the same helper methods that happen to be the common functionality from the interface. So let's run it and see what we get. Okay? And here you can see that we get a very different looking, not quite lined up title. And we get very similar types of output, but they're from different types of sales and they're implemented differently. Okay? So when I have a situation where two different classes are wildly different in what they do, what they represent, what they model, I can still add common functionality through the implementation of an interface. Okay, now you have seen interfaces. So we've looked at a very large slice of the language Java. We started back in the beginning with the hello world, looked at sequencing, some basic data types, conditionals, iteration. Then we did some method work. We built our first POCO class. Then we did some constructor chaining. Then we talked about how abstract classes allow us to use inheritance to save ourselves a lot of work, because we can put commonality up in a mommy or a daddy class and just inherit what we need and tweak the changes on the edges, okay? And our last 3 videos, this one included, we've looked at interfaces where if we don't need all that overhead, we just need some common functionality between what could be very different types of classes. We just create an interface that has the same abstract functions we want all of our classes to do, and everybody implements it, okay? So the beauty of object-oriented code is it saves us time, it saves us maintenance, it saves us typing, okay? We can build Legos that can go together and give us a lot of functionality. Now, as far as APCSA goes, we're going to have some more content videos, and then we're actually going to get into graphical user interface programming, and that will be one of the next series, and we're going to be using Java FX. It's pretty cool, and I will see you when we get to that system on the other side.